Today, I'll be reacting to your Monday Night Raw hot takes. The August 5th edition of Raw is all that people can talk about. Some people saying it's the greatest Raw since Triple H took over, and others are saying it's the best WWE TV episode since before the pandemic. But I asked you over on X, what did you think of Raw, and what were some of your hot takes, predictions, and thoughts on the show? But before we get into those, make sure you leave a like on this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and turn those notifications on so you never miss another upload. And also, I just launched a Patreon, so we're gonna have a lot more content coming for you. More on that in a little bit. Now, let's get into this thing. Angle says the most complete episode of WWE Raw since Triple H took over. Stories, good matches, Easter eggs, everything matters. This is the perfect comment to sum up Monday Night Raw. It really was the perfect show. It was Triple H's best episode of Monday Night Raw and possibly WWE TV since he's taken over. I know some people are saying it's just literally the best show he's booked, but like SummerSlam just happened, okay? I think SummerSlam still tops this, but it was the greatest follow-up to SummerSlam they possibly could have done. Exciting from start to finish, and literally everything mattered. It didn't matter if you were in the opening segment, middle of the card, or main event. There is a rhyme and reason for you being in the slot you were, and they are going to follow it up with some sort of story. Literally everything matters. Stephanie Hype says, I don't know, Raw after SummerSlam was hotter than Raw after Mania. And I have to agree, the Raw after Mania was great. It was a lot of fun, but like there was something so magical about this show. The fact that we built up like the Judgment Day for as long as we did, the fact that we got the debut of the Wyatts, the fact that we saw CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins interact, and then we saw Bronson Reed destroy Rollins. Just everything on the show had a purpose, and it was great. But not only was it great because everything had a purpose, but it was great because we got a new direction for a lot of stories. For a little bit there, fans were starting to say they were tired of some of the stories going on, and that usually happens when there's a big build to a big pay-per-view. But you don't want to see the stories drag on after the pay-per-view. You want to see new directions, new stories, new moments happen, and that's exactly what we got on Monday Night Raw. So I have to agree, Stephanie, this was the greatest episode of Monday Night Raw under the Triple H era, and it certainly tops the Raw after WrestleMania this year. Andy says, I don't know, I just want to be on the video. Well, there you go. Just like SummerSlam set the new precedent of it being WrestleMania-like, this Raw after SummerSlam set the new precedent for all Raws after SummerSlam. They all have to be bangers. I think you're right. This really did feel like a monumental show. Not only did it feel like a monumental show for Monday Night Raw, but SummerSlam itself was truly something special because it felt like they were saying, okay, this is a WrestleMania-like show. This is a stadium show, and we are going to deliver, especially with them moving to 2 nights in 2026. Also, it does sound like maybe 2025 is going to end up being a 2-night SummerSlam as well, which I am here for. But regardless, SummerSlam and the Raw after SummerSlam are now a thing. You have to deliver on these shows now. It is the biggest party of the summer, and now it officially feels like the biggest party of the summer. And it's very exciting because like now we go into the kind of dull part of wrestling. You know, we don't have a lot happening from now until the end of the year. Like usually we get excited around Royal Rumble season again, but this little period right here is like the lull in pro wrestling, the post-SummerSlam blues, if you will. But after that show, I think WWE is going to be on fire all the way till the Royal Rumble. Like, we're not slowing down. We're just speeding up. I want to like the new Finn look, and I'm always open to hoping the WWE will finally book him well, but I have a feeling this is going to fall flat on its face once again. And I understand the concern because, you know, Finn Balor, he's had a lot of stop and start pushes, but like this doesn't feel like he's going to get to the world title. I unfortunately don't think we are going to see Finn Balor as a world champion in WWE. If it does happen, I'll eat my words, but like it feels like we missed the boat when he got injured in that Universal Championship match against Seth Rollins, and it's such a shame that he never really did get back to that opportunity. He might get there again, but like it does feel like it's far away. However, what I will say here is that Finn Balor being associated with JD McDonough, Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and Carlito is not a bad thing. In fact, the group looks pretty cool. And I'm optimistic that the new Judgment Day is going to be fine. A lot of people are worried that they don't have that main event level talent anymore in there. And well, I disagree, because Dominic is like one of the most overstars on the roster. Liv Morgan's literally the women's world champion, and Finn Balor is a proven main event level talent. It just doesn't feel like they've got that ace like a Damian Priest or a Rhea Ripley anymore. So I get the concern with the Judgment Day, but I really do think they're going to be fine. It's probably going to be like more of a mid-card act now. And I imagine, once they're done with Damian and Rhea, they're probably moving on to something else. Maybe the Wyatt Sicks? Bronson Reed's performance plus the crowd's reaction just rocketed him to the moon. This was what we call a star-making performance, and Bronson got a mega moment right there over Seth Rollins. I can't recall the last time I've seen Seth Rollins decimated that way. In fact, I don't think it's ever happened. It was amazing to watch and see unfold in front of our very eyes on that TV. Bronson Reed became a player here today. We know he can go. In fact, he's beaten Okada in New Japan. Like, he's got a lot of talent, and he's proven himself every single time he's gone out there in the ring. So Jonah is going to be great at this upper mid-card level. In fact, he might eventually push himself into the main event level territory. He can speak, he can work, and he's got an impressive look as well. Jake TV, man, dude, you have been putting in work. I don't know what Jake's been up to in the gym, but my dude, whatever you're doing, just keep it up, Jake. Like, we are so proud of you, just squashing Rollins on our TV every single week. Like, keep it up, Jake. But in all seriousness, Bronson Reed became a star. But I want to know from all of you in the comments below, what do you think the top end potential of Bronson Reed is? Do you think he could actually reach the mountaintop someday and become a world champion? Or do you think he's going to be stuck in this upper mid-card purgatory where he's not quite able to break through, but he's going to face some of the best talent in WWE? I'm leaning towards that, but I would love for him to prove me wrong. Liv Morgan being a part of the Judgment Day is the best thing for everyone involved, including Damian and Rhea. And after what we saw from the Terror Twins on Monday Night Raw, I cannot disagree in any way. Those two were amazing. They sounded like money. Let's be real. They looked like money. They smelled like money. You know that gif of Vince where he's smelling the money? That's exactly what this was. They are money. In fact, just put every single title on them. All right. You know what? Let's open up a mixed tag team title for the hell of it and just put it on them, and they will never lose it ever. The Terror Twins are great, and I can't wait to see them run through the Judgment Day. I can't wait to see them run back through the rest of the card. Like, a few years ago, I said that Damian Priest was going to be a main event level player, and this was before he won the United States Championship. And a lot of people were saying, Khan, I see what you're putting out there, but no, he's probably just going to be an upper mid-carder at best. But he has proved everybody wrong along the way, and he is one of the best parts of Monday Night Raw right now. Like, there's not very often that you see this star come along where he just slowly but surely rises up the card, and then he gets to this point where now the fans are willing to get invested in this character and get behind this character, and you just feel like this rocket's about to go off with him, right? Damian Priest is money. I don't think he's going to just be a one-time world champion. In fact, over the next 3-4 years, I see him winning it multiple times. And of course, Rhea Ripley's already a star, and this is just going to help her out even more. So Rhea Ripley and Damian are going to be in a great position post-Judgment Day here. And also, yeah, you're right. Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, Carlito, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, them still being involved in the Judgment Day is what's best for them for sure, without a doubt. It gives them the ability to still be involved with each other because their dynamic is great, but like, they weren't the breakthrough stars that Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest were. So it makes sense to keep them together and let Dom and Liv just kind of do their thing. Let Finn be mad, let Carlito be funny, and let JD have a big head. Hearing Shatter in its entirety finally actually killed me, but in the best way. I'm so glad we finally got it. Oh man, it was a heart-wrenching main event, wasn't it? Like, anybody who has followed the career of Bray Wyatt and has gone through everything that has happened through the years, it was such a surreal, special moment. Oh, it was so sweet. Like, you just know Bray was looking down with the biggest smile on his face. Bo, Nikki, Joe, Rowan, and Dexter, you guys all made him so beyond proud. Like, I'm, as a wrestling fan, I'm the proudest I possibly could be over that segment. It was beautiful. I mean, just look at this, right? Look at these lights right here. Ethan says it was fun. I really like the new Judgment Day along with the Wyatt Sicks debuting. Also, what's Bronson's deal with Seth? But like, regarding just the photo that you sent right there, I love it. Just look at the lights, look at the fans, everybody on their feet for the Wyatt Sicks. Just, it's special. Pro wrestling is so special. But going back to the Terror Twins right here, how can you not love the look of this duo? I think that these two are going to run rampant on WWE TV for a long time. And like, I love that they have this dynamic now moving forward. I don't think it's anything that you should break up, like not for a long, long time, if ever. I love this duo, and it's money. American Made could be something fantastic if they are booked right. And I have to agree with you right here. American Made has a lot of potential. That's like my favorite word when it comes to pro wrestling is potential, because like you can't really go wrong with it. If somebody has potential, you're just like, oh, they got potential, but then maybe they don't live up to their potential, or maybe you're just wrong for saying that they got potential. Anyways, they have potential as a faction right there. Chad Gable's come into his own, and I love the Creed brothers look with him. It's a little bit of Team Angle vibes, but like not a carbon copy, which I like that that's the direction they're going in, because let's face it, Julius Creed and Brutus Creed both have main event potential. There's that word again, potential. But they certainly do. They got that ability to move up the card. Julius Creed himself is a freak of nature in the ring. So talented. Like, I can't wait to see what his main event level push will look like. But to get there, to get to that main event slot, you have to be put in a faction that people will start to get behind. Something that'll have some story that the fans can sink their teeth into. And that's exactly what they've got right here with American Made. It's great. I love the faction, and I think it's going to be perfect for everybody involved, honestly. Muhammad says, I got the feeling that Bronson Reed might be helping to write Seth off TV for a while to deal with his nagging injuries. He also returned way too early after WrestleMania. And yeah, you're onto something right here, man. Seth Rollins, he wasn't involved in an actual wrestling match for a reason. Seth Rollins ain't cleared. Seth Rollins is not at 100%. That is just so very obvious. And so they brought him back for SummerSlam because he's a big name. And if you didn't have Roman on the card, and your main event was Cody versus Solo, and you wanted to add another dynamic here to this Seth versus CM Punk feud that they're building to, like, it made sense to include Seth Rollins in as the referee, but now it makes a lot of sense to pull him away from TV. You're obviously going to go back and focus on Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, so you don't need Seth Rollins around anymore to kind of interject himself with that feud. And then that opens up the door for Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins when Rollins come back, which I think will be a great matchup, which will obviously lead to Seth Rollins picking up that dub, right? So all in all, really, really good look here for Bronson Reed. It elevates him up the card, and it removes Seth Rollins from TV so he can go away, deal with those injuries, and come back at 100%. Gabby says one of the best Raws this year, and I think the whole thing with the Judgment Day will end with Liv and Finn on top together. And that is kind of the direction I think a lot of fans think this is going to go in. Not right now, but if we really look at the way Triple H is telling these stories, Dominic Mysterio turned on Rhea Ripley because Rhea Ripley didn't treat Dom right from the beginning. Think about that. And Dom didn't treat Liv right from the beginning. Liv was flirting, Liv was approaching him, Liv was coming with gifts and all that, and Dom in the end said, I hate you, to go away, I never want to see you again. He picked Rhea Ripley in front of 15,000 people and made Liv Morgan cry? So I wonder if this is Liv's revenge tour still, if she's not going to forget what Dominic said to her, and maybe there's something more going on with Finn Balor all along. Or what if that hotel room key comes into play in the future? What if it's revealed Finn and Liv have been getting some on the side the entire time? I mean, wrestling fans would lose their mind, that's for sure. Caden says, I already knew this, but Odyssey Jones is amazing. I can't wait to see more from him, but he actually made my excitement go up for the Cross New Day feud. And he really did. He actually injected life into this feud right here. But Odyssey Jones is incredible. I did not realize how strong he was. Apparently the dude can like lift 800 pounds. Like, what the hell? Like, all right. He is freaking strong. Did you see when he lifted up both members there of the Final Testament, the Authors of Pain? Good Lord, those are big dudes. They're not tiny. He picked them up with ease and slammed them both into the mat. It's hella impressive. And like, you can start to see why they kept him around for so long. I'm pretty sure he was drafted to Monday Night Raw like 2 years ago and has not been featured on TV whatsoever. But you can tell that they see something in Odyssey Jones and like, hey, maybe if we just keep working on things with him, get him to that point where we feel he is ready for TV, then we can call him up truly and put him out there on TV. And it looks like that's what they've done. They found the perfect story for him being involved with the New Day. Xavier Woods doesn't necessarily love that he's there. He's a little confused why he's there. I like that dynamic because we've never really seen infighting within the New Day before. And that could elevate the entire act of the New Day to new heights as well. I really hope they don't split though. Like, I don't really want to see the New Day split. They're one of those teams that I'd love to see go through their entire career and remain together, especially after what Kofi Mania was. You know what I mean? The essence of Kofi Mania was that Big E and Xavier Woods let him go to, well, not let him go, but they gave him the win, right? They won for him to go to WrestleMania. They won their way for their friend to go to WrestleMania. English is tough, let's be real. But I'm excited to see what's next for Odyssey Jones and the New Day. I think it's going to be a great little combo, and who knows what's next for them. Gunther versus Orton II is going to cook. There's no way Gunther loses this soon, but damn, it would be amazing if Randy won his 15th world title. I could see this match going either way, honestly. I personally can't see it going either way. I don't see Randy Orton beating Gunther in Berlin, but the match itself will be hella entertaining. For me, this is just like the natural progression for Gunther. It's really not a surprise that we're getting Randy versus Gunther, except for the fact that Randy Orton is technically on SmackDown. He's not a Monday Night Raw superstar, but they did have to go back into this and they had to look at it and say, hey, what is the one exception here for Gunther? He's not viewed completely dominant because, well, he didn't really beat Randy Orton. His shoulder was up. So we were going back to that feud right there, and it's now time for Gunther to put Randy down. He's gonna beat the man. He's gonna absolutely destroy him before going on an incredible world title run. In fact, I'm wondering if Gunther is going to beat Bruno Sammartino's record at this rate. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H just said, you know what? A decade of Gunther. Wyatt Sicks absolutely showed out tonight. They looked really good in the ring. Zero disagreement right here. Dexter Lumis especially looked great in the ring, but also I got to give praise to Joe Gacy. I wasn't too familiar with Joe Gacy's work before NXT, and then he came in during NXT 2.0, and I kind of found myself falling out of the NXT product just a little bit. And I only got to see the tail end of his run with Schism. Like, I haven't seen much from Joe Gacy, but his in-ring work is incredibly solid. He looked so good in that matchup. Everybody, honestly, Rowan looked great. Dexter Lumis, Dexter Lumis's look is the coolest of the group. I don't think anybody else has had a more interesting transformation. Like, that look right there, I can see him even breaking free from the Wyatt Sicks at some point and literally being his own standalone character. Dexter Lumis looks so damn cool. I don't know much about him in his current form. I don't know what his character really is. I don't know what depth it has, but like, I want to learn more. Dexter looked great. LJ Knight, yeah, says Seth could have rolled over. Just Bronson Reed just kept tsunami. Just roll out of the ring, Rollins. The women's tag division just needs to die and get replaced with a mid-card belt. WWE just doesn't try when it comes to women's tag team division as a whole, and it honestly shows. It honestly shows that you haven't seen WWE, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? This is a lot better than it used to be, let me tell you. Yeah, I'm frustrated too with the women's tag team division and like the lack of attention it's gotten through the years. I still think part of the issue is that they had NXT tag team titles for the women's division, and it was starting to be built up in a big way. but then they just unified the tag titles and they've never really recovered after that, right? If you think about it, we need to build up women's tag teams so that when they come up to the main roster, they have some meaning, just like you build up regular tag teams in the NXT tag team division, right? It just makes sense. I don't really understand why they don't do it for both the men and women. Like, even on the men's side, it's a little lackluster when it comes to actual true tag teams coming up and competing for those tag titles, right? If you look at it, we've seen a bunch of different like solo stars put together in a tag team just to make those tag titles feel bigger. So it's kind of like all around. WWE's booking of the tag division is mid at best. They need to step it up both on the men's side and the women's side. And one easy way to do that is just develop more women's tag teams in NXT so people get invested while they come through the main roster. As for the main roster themselves, I can't sit here and say that they're not trying. They certainly are. They've put together Bianca and Jade. They've put together the Life of the Party. They've put together the Unholy Union. Like, they're actually trying to feature people here on TV. And if you look, you've got the stud line, right? You've got Sonya, Zoe, and Shayna all together, and like they're trying there. And then they've got Damage Control as well. Like, it's not from a lack of trying. I think it's from a lack of attention with stories, and it does feel like it is more of an afterthought when it comes to the show as opposed to a priority. So if they could fix that, fix a little bit of the booking, and fix some of the tag teams coming up through NXT, I think the women's division will be more than fine. But also, I'm not disagreeing. Definitely need a women's mid-card title on the main roster. Oh boy, all right, some more women's division hate. Says that Sonya group should head to NXT since they are, in my opinion, one of the worst parts of Raw lately. I guess they're just being pretty damn good heels to you then, because like there's no reason to like them right now. They're just beating up people and they're being mean about it, and they put their fingers in the center like a gun. Yeah, no, like there's nothing wrong with them. I think the group as a whole is better than being on their own. And I think the fact that they're on TV and they can all wrestle in the ring will lead to some pretty solid matches. Is it a main event level like faction right now? No, I don't think so. Someday, maybe. There's certainly a lot of talent. I mean, Shayna's great. Zoe's great. What's her name? Sonya. That's her name. She's very, very good. I don't know. I think that there's still some, again, potential for this group. Lux77 said tonight's Raw had arguably the best non-PLE crowd of the year. Every segment was elevated and felt like a big deal. It would definitely be in WWE's best interest to come back to Baltimore in the near future. I am sure they will be back to Baltimore. You guys were loud, man. That was a hell of a crowd. But I have to agree, great episode of Monday Night Raw. Everything mattered, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, best Raw of the year. I'll say it. But that is it for this video. If you guys want to submit your hot takes in the future, follow me over on Twitter or X at Conman167, because that is the place to be. We also have a Patreon that I mentioned in the start of this video. And if you guys enjoy what I do here, if you enjoy all this content, then go check it out. There's lots of stuff coming over there, and I think you're going to love it. I'll talk more about it throughout the week. But until then, take care. Thanks for watching, and make sure you drop that like, subscribe, all that great stuff, and we'll see you very soon.